Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. This is round 5 of the oNiD Le Mans series, brought to you by oNiD and Hound Academy. We're in the Ardennes Forest at Spa-Francorchamps for an hour and 30 minutes of racing around this 4.3 mile venue in Belgium. But before we get underway with racing, we've got this 15 minutes qualifying session, which now we're down to 12 minutes and, well, about 15 seconds of. And, well, I've still got to introduce my co-commentator, Ben. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yes, good to be back. We are here. We're what according to some people is live. So it's nice to be back for another week. A longer week this week. A 90-minute race around Spa.
Yeah,
which I
longer race.
Didn't realise until I looked at the timetable.
I didn't realise until you said it. So it's nice. It's good we were both prepared for this. But never mind. Yeah. So it's a longer race this week. A lot for our drivers to think about, and a lot more time for them to try and keep it on the circuit. Which, I mean, for the car we're watching now, the LMP2s, the Oracle, it's been a little bit of a challenge. I think it was a bit better last week though. The drivers getting used to the car a bit better now. Not as tricky as it was at the start of the season at Silverstone, but we'll have to see what they're like here today around this Spa circuit, because it's going to be it's going to be challenging in traffic at certain parts of the circuit as well. Thinking about the last part of the lap through turn 17, turn 18, if you catch your car at Bonchmont at the wrong time and doing an MP2, it may be a little bit tricky to get past, and will cost you a lot of time if you're not able to get past them in that section, causing you to let it off. So we'll have to see. We're still waiting for some of our first times in this session, and we will be getting them ever so soon. But actually, as we're coming up to the corner now, coming into the bus stops chain, turns 19 and 20 on this lap as well. I didn't quite realise how hard this car is to get out of the slower speeds of corners. I said this to you, Ben, before the stream, because it has such a low reaction point until you find the throttle, and then it's very reactive. It's really hard to just try and get this car, find the traction to pull it out of the corners, just how unreactive the throttle can be. It's a bit like how James May describes the old TVR throttles. It's like you kind of wait for it to do something, and it's like, are you sure you want the throttle? Oh, okay, bang, and then it actually starts to do something. As you can see, we have some of our times coming in now. It's currently Cowley fastest in the session by 1.3 seconds, a 2-minute 04.643. Only driver in the 2-minute 04s as at the moment, as we've got Kovac and Wood in the top 3 at the moment. Visperaz and Hine make up the top 5, and now we're starting to get some of our LMGT3 times, with Downing currently topping that in his McLaren. Actually, no, you've scratched that. Farrell goes to the top, 2-minute 22.2. Actually, no, taking it back. Ben Brown goes even quicker into 1-minute 21. Skizig can't go any quicker. He's in the 21s as well, but it's about just under 3 tenths shy of what Brown's been able to set. So that's a good bounce back after last week for Ben Brown. We obviously saw them DNF after a big crash near in the latter stages of the race. So and this car really did struggle last week, so it's good to see it back on the pace again here at Spa.
Yeah, I don't think you can get a track that's more different to Monza than Spa. Plenty of places for the Merc to excel and really put down that cruising speed we know it has, and but none of those real long radius corners as much that it seemed to really dislike around Monza on whatever setup these guys were using.
Yeah, and I was just looking as well, as it currently stands, the drivers in this session, if they both take pole position, it'll be the first of the season. Yeah, actually, that is including Townsend, who's now just gone quickest in the LMGT3 class to put a BMW onto the pole position. But yeah, Cowley, despite having 2 wins and 2 seconds this season, has yet to take a pole outright. And Townsend as well, this would be their first time starting from pole position as well. But the LMGT3 class, it does change and weave throughout the session, so I assume that will not be the order by the time we end this session, as I think these cars will just get quicker and quicker and quicker, as again, a lot of changing in the LMP2 class. Visperaz now in 5th, Hine now in 4th, Kovac in 3rd, Wood 2nd, but obviously Cowley still at the top of the times in the 2-minute 03s in that class. Angela Scotty goes up into 4th now onto the 2nd row of the grid. Townsend and LMGT3 staying how they were now, for now at least, as we follow Ben through for the end of this lap. I don't know if you can see his time, how he's doing.
He is... I'm trying to read the tool, to be honest. It looks like he's a little bit up, But I'm not entirely sure he's going to carry it through to the end there. It's going to be very, very close. But it's shuffling all the time. Everyone's just moving around on that as they're coming across the line. There's a lot of groups moving around together. They're not together, obviously, physically, because it's private qualifying, but they've all gone out in big clumps on track, which is why we're seeing all those times just shift all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Downing back to the top of the times. Brown's still now third. He's second, Downing at the top. And actually, after all that, as you said, that big group of cars all going through at once. It's actually not Townsend from the fastest time in the session. You're not even inside the top 5 now. He's absolutely. Actually, no, never mind. He's
There he goes
taking pole
again.
again. I take it all back. He's that kind of shows he's obviously a bit out of sync with everyone else, but yeah, 65 thousandths between himself and Chris Downing at this point in the session, really close in that LMGT3 class, which has got really tight as the season's gone on. Kiesig hasn't really had the pace in the last few rounds, and it has brought up some different winners. And actually, also, he hasn't really had the pace in the qualifying in the last 4 rounds either. So 4 attempts off as it currently stands in this session. We'll have to see the Porsche driver can bring it back. I know Johnny was, before we came into this call, was complaining about the Porsche's pace around here. So maybe another venue the Porsche isn't really enjoying too much, which may be nerfing Kiesig's overall pace. That explain why he's about 4 attempts off of the fastest time in the session. But yeah, interesting to see. Brown now down to 4th, but yeah, that GT3 class just so close.
It really is. Close to the LMP2s at the moment as well. Top 7 covered by less than a second. So it's really... And it's shifting all the time. As these guys are finding little improvements and moving up and down that grid.
While we wait for the next time to come in, I just want to do some admin. So thank you, Ben22 Racing, Ben Brown in the session for 54 months in a row of tier subscriptions. Thank you very much for that. And hello to Oshabal HPC in chat who's joining us, and also Lucky 8 Racing. Thank you for joining us in the chat. We follow Angela Scott, currently on pole position in the LMP2 class in that DKR Engineering liveried LMP2 Orica, currently 2 attempts quicker than Cowley's fastest time, and now that class obviously into the 2-minute 03s in this session. We now ride the chase cam review on Angela Scott. A little change there, I think we saw in the LMGT3 class, and it is Kiesig up to second, but 6,000 off of the fastest time in that class. Townsend just about holding on to pole position, trying to claim their first of the season. If Kiesig was to steal it, then it would be their 4th of the season after losing out last time. As still follow on board Angela Scott, you can hear them going through the right hander now, fully on the throttle. Actually, will be basically fully on the throttle until turn 19 into the best of the chicane. We've got these next 2 corners, basically all back, just kind of, yeah.
Any lifting? No, not even maybe the tiniest lift as they went through that last left-hander.
I was finding in when I had a little go in the cars before the event, even the LMGT3s. I'm not maybe I'm not running the right setup, but I was in one of the Ferraris, and I was able to take on from turn 8 as well. So I think it's quite as long as you throw it in there, you can take it pretty flat. Downing now 65 thousandths off of Townsend as well in the LMGT3 class. Angela Scott comes through. It's not an improvement that time around. Bevan, actually no, it might have been, because the Bevan, I didn't realise, has now popped up 22 thousandths back in second in that class. They've split themselves between Scotty and Cowley, and that's separated those 2 in class. This would be Angela Scott's second pole. Actually, no, I don't think. No, yeah, second pole of the season.
Last week.
Yeah. So Monza and Spa. So really has had the pace in these last 2 venues, but obviously, I think if I remember correctly, last time out, I had a really poor start from that rolling start.
Yes.
Which dropped her, I think, all the way maybe to 6th on the opening lap. So that's what she's got to be careful.
Yeah, she ran afoul of an occasional game bug that we've heard people getting where the lights didn't show for her. Because she didn't get the warnings to hold pace because she was the leader. So it absolutely threw her off, apparently. So that's good, really. But
Well, okay, so this is the week to try and fix that. This is the week to obviously hope the bug doesn't happen again, and hope that they can resurrect whatever chances they had of winning last week. As it's still sitting on the fastest time in this. Actually, no, actually, sorry, I mean Alfie Bevan now has popped up into pole position. It's a 2 minute, 3 second point 3:12 to go fastest, and actually, I haven't got it down on my notes. Oh no, it would be Alfie's third pole of the season if he's able to get it here at Spa today. So this would be a repeat pole sitter. Hasn't got one for a couple of rounds. Wasn't last week's pole sitter. So it's a comeback here for Alfie this week. As that's not going to help Alfie though. You really take the money cross line there as he kicks up the dirt.
Third pole, but it's only managed to convert one to a win.
Yeah, and
In fact, I didn't think he wasn't on pole for Le Mans, was he? He came through to win it.
Yeah, wait, I'll have a look.
Have we actually had a pole sitter win yet?
Yes, I think we have, and I can't.
actually, wait. I can tell you who it is. Christian Kiesig's won from pole, I think, at least one of the times he's taken pole. And I think Alfie Bevans has taken 2 poles this season. I think one of them he did convert.
If I remember correctly, and I think that might have been, if off the top of my head, I'm going to make a guess and say that was at round 3. No, wait, no, that's NMGT3, NMP2, Alfie Bevans race 1, and qualifying.
Yes, he has. Alfie Bevans at round 3 of the championship took pole position and the win. So that was, and that was at Le Mans. Well remembered.
I wasn't sure whether he'd done. I thought he'd managed it at Le Mans, but yeah, not had much luck from the front row of the grids. Which
no,
I've always maintained pole isn't necessarily the most important thing in these cars because they're so well balanced and equalised. But yeah, you'd think, given the pace he usually shows, it's. I'm sure he's annoyed that he hasn't managed to convert them a few more to that lead. My question is anyone going to take this one away from him now?
Yeah, it's a good point. There's only 30. Actually, that's weird. Alfie's come out. There's only 30 seconds to go in the session, so maybe just getting some practice in. Maybe there's a corner he's not being particularly confident in, but we'll have to see. But back to the oNiD car here with James Cowley coming into the final corner now. Oh, I love the downshift from these cars. It sounds so violent. It sounds like gunshots as they slam down. It's amazing. But anyway, back onto the power now. Comes James Cowley. Will this be good enough to steal away pole position? We'll have to find out now as he comes across the line. It doesn't look like it was. He's going to come into the next corner, and no, it looks like he did improve that time around. I know actually I wasn't looking at the timing screen, Ben. Did he cross the line with
I'm not sure he did. I mean, he's going again, so he must. Maybe he did, but it was very tight if he managed it.
I think he might have just. I mean, looking at the pace coming down here now, it looks like Cowley might have just about managed this. So one more fast lap from James Cowley to try and steal pole position away from Alfie Bevan. He's been sitting on the top of the LMP2 pile for a while, Alfie, in this session, but we can see if James Cowley can steal it away at the end. This driver obviously very accomplished. 2 wins, 2 seconds this season. Win at round 1 and round 4, and round 2 and round 3, 2 second place finishes. So he's looking to finish the season strong here in this championship. And I mean, this lap's looking pretty tidy from James Cowley. He hasn't really, that car seems to be behaving pretty well. It doesn't look like he's fighting it too much. It just looks like a nice, smooth lap time from James Cowley now as he's making his way through he's into the second sector of the lap now, and actually no, he's stopped.
Must have been losing enough time that he thought, no, it's not worth continuing. But it's going to be an interesting one, too. Extra long race. Apparently the weather is set to be quite variable as well, so that will play into tyre strategy. Oh, Scotty pops up back up to P2 at the last there.
Yeah, actually, as well. And Adisa Carpenter slots between Cowley and Scotty as well. So that's actually put Cowley, still in the second row of the grid, but down to 4th, just behind Adisa Carpenter. And we saw good pace from them last week as well. So, and Kiesig stealing pole in the other class as well. Well, anyway, here we go. On to row 1 of our LMP2 field, if the graphic will care to load for us.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go. Alfie Bevans. It's a pole position for Alfie. I'm 3rd of the season. Angela Scott tried to make it 2 out of 2, but we'll have to settle for 2nd place this time around.
Will it move on to the next page?
Will we get to the next
Is
page?
it going to...
Is it going to happen? Well, we can tell you
Should we try
Christian
that
Kiesig
again?
on polls in the
No, it's not going to
LMGT3.
work, is it? Okay. No, it's just doing row 1 over and over. Bear with. Let's try that again.
Take 2. There we go. So Alfie Bevan's on pole position 3rd time this season, with Angela Scott trying to make it to R2, but didn't quite work that time. Row 2, Adisa Carpenter lines up in 3rd, followed by championship leader James Cowley in 4th. On to row 3, 5th is Dave Wood, and 6th has gone the way of Janusz Kovac. Then in row 4, it's Jacob Hine, and 8th goes the way of Manny Steiner. Moving on to row 5 of the grid now is Leon Vizbaraz, and making up the top 10 is Dan Tomlinson. Then on to row 6, we have Charlie Morgan, and 12th is the way of Dan Steffens. On to row 7 now, it's Frank Vevick in 13th, and 14th is Alex J. Wood in the interior pole liveried car. On to row 8, it's Jarrett Page, and pole position goes away of Christian Kiesig in the LMGT3s. Then on to row 9, it's Matt Townsend in 2nd, and 3rd has gone the way of last week's winner, Chris Downing. Then in 4th is Ben Brown, and Max Farrell will line up in 5th in his BMW. On to row 11, 6th has gone the way of Christopher Bell, and 7th has gone the way of Daniel Johansson. On to row 12, Petty Jelinek in the Aston Martin, and followed by John Metcalf, who won at the Le Mans venue. On to row 13, we have Tyler Hammer and Frank Vevick in his Mercedes AMG. Then on to row 14, it's Elvin Blomqvist. Alongside him is Andy Hearn in that BMW. Then on to row 15, it's Christian Schlink and Elliot Lewis. Then now we look the way of row 16, it's Johnny Ashley struggling in that Porsche, as we heard in practice, and he's alongside Dean Smith. And row 17 are our non-starters, Zach Silver in 33rd, and 34th Jonas Muller in that Iron James livery LMP2. And I think that should be it. And even if it isn't, they're not starting.
I'll yeet them off and get onto the tower instead. There we go.
Yeah. So, as you can see, Alfie Burns, he's had experience leading off the grid so far this season, but has only converted once. Angela Scott, obviously, we saw them lead the way last week, and obviously due to lighting issues on the Le Mans side, didn't know when the race was going green. So, I mean, both of them want to get a good start here. Both of them have experiences of kind of leading a race, but then obviously it all falling apart as the race went on. So it really is going to be a lot of attention. And also, what we haven't really mentioned at this point is how tricky it is to get through that Eau Rouge and Radion section. At least it's not ACC where you actually start at that section, and everyone does space out a little bit at La Source, but it's still going to be a tricky corner to get through with all the cars so tight together in the early part of the race. And if there's a crash in the LMP2 class, if you're the LMGT3 leader, Alfie's got it! Alfie's off the circuit.
No.
That's what I mentioned. That's what I mentioned, Ben, though. It's so hard to find where that throttle is going out the tighter corners, and that is what's happened to Alfie. And basically, that's given pole position to Angela Scott. It's on the left side of the circuit, but as you can see, that DKR engineering car is clearly ahead of the rest of the field. And actually, there you go, Angela Scott leads the way, and it's already Cowley up to 2nd. Alfie's going to try to come back. He's looking to the outside of the Cowley, and down the inside from really far
Dave
back.
God!
All of them are off. All of them have been converted, and Jacob Hine leads the way from Leon Vizbaraz.
4 of the top 5 off at that first corner. That was Cowley, Scotty, Alfie, and Dave Woods.
I think that might have been Dave Wood then coming from a long way back, and that's then going into these guys. It's so hard to use I mentioned last week as well, the engine braking on these cars, so hard to get it stopped into the corners sometimes, and obviously it's cool Dave Wood out there, but Jacob Hine leads the way from Fitzpatrick, Dusa Carpenter and Kovac. Dusa Carpenter doing a good job there of evading all of that carnage into the first couple of corners. It's Chris Downing now leading the way in the MGT3s, and it's actually a change of position. Leon Vizbaraz going for the lead down to the side of Dick Hine at this point in the race. Hine's now down to 2nd with Dusa Carpenter 3rd. Kovac is in 4th, and Tomlinson rounds out this shaken up top 5 in the LMP2 class as we now start our descent all the way down to Pulwan through turn 12 now. So the yellow flag's out again. It's Downing Cizik and Farrell. Farrell having some really impressive pace in this session. A lot of drivers impressed as he runs up in 3rd and 15th overall in this race. But it looks like Jake Hines struggling at this point. He's coming back from Visbras and is under a lot of pressure from Adusa Carpenter. And actually, there is a gaggle of cars there from Kovac down to Tomlinson, who look to be putting pressure on Hine at this point. So it's going to be a long start to this race for Hine. He's going to be have to put some defensive moves to try and hold on to this podium position. As you can see, Adisa Carpenter going to the left-hand side, then going to the right. I wouldn't be surprised if they switch back to the left again as they make their way through the Blanchimont part of the circuit now as they come up towards the braking zone for the bus stop chicane. Is anyone going to go for a move? Bang, down come the gears. Multiple scratch and off the circuit goes Hine, off the circuit goes Adusta. And Adusta's going to briefly take 2nd place, but it's going to be Kovac now who's going to look to the outside, coming up towards the source. They make their way past the cameraman now, and they're side by side into the source. And Kovac is the best of the late breakers. He's going to turn the car in. Adusa is going to push Kovac out wide. There's contact between the pair of them as they make their way now down the hill towards O'Rouge, and it could be Kovac. He's going to lose out more here. He's side by side with Tomlinson, and he just about to snap his front end off, going through Raggy on there. Unbelievable racing then.
I am just making noises at this point. Yeah, fantastic racing from these guys. Oh, blooming heck. They have just absolutely gone for it. Let's run down to the GT3s, let them have a look at what they're doing. Downing in the lead, being chased very close by Cizik. In the background, that's a BMW going around. Who was that? Oh, that's
Matt Townsend, and I think Max Farrell. That was like a scene from Cars. Yeah, I was watching Cars the other night, and it's like this scene where the two cars are on top of each other, spinning around the NASCAR.
Definitely getting a replay of that.
It's like Danica's all mine.
Oh. Have you ever seen that picture of those two Porsches in the Carrera Cup race?
Yes.
Oh god, it's all going mental. I have no idea what's happening. Oh, that's horrible for Matt. He's having to wait for ages there as well.
But I mean, a good job. High-speed corner part of the circuit could have easily lost the engine in a bigger accident.
Oh, I think he has.
Yeah, okay, so Matt... Oh, that's a shame for Matt Townsend. Looks so promising in qualifying. But I think from what I've seen, it's our first DNF. It's been a bit of a mad start to the race, in all honesty. But Alfie, Bevan and Morgan right at the back of the field, 24th and 25th overall. And yeah, really, it's just full of carnage. Maybe it was Morgan involved in that as well. I couldn't quite make out who that LMP2 was that urged for all of them. But
let's go back and have a look if I can find it.
Yeah, as actually Leon Visbras missed a bit then, but seen some early stops here in this longer race. There's an hour and 25 minutes still to go, but Visbras into the pit lane, and here's the race starts. So let's see what happened. It's that kind of I don't know what team livery that is.
So we're on board with Alfie at the moment,
and it's that car's lining up in.
Yeah, that's definitely Dave Wood. That's the AO livery. Yeah, I think that's
right.
Cold brakes and understeer, isn't it? Oh god.
I think it is indeed, and then obviously it plunges up the LMP3 class. Ben and Johansson, big clash together. I think I saw Warwick as well go into them, but somehow the car corrected which direction it was facing. But actually, I was going to say, in fairness to people, I think the contact with actually just due to the fact that Scotty run a little bit wide and couldn't really make their way around the corner and was trying to avoid that gravel trap, and unfortunately would have been a little bit too hot and brought them as well. So I think it would have only been a 2-car incident.
It does.
And run a little bit wide.
We owe deepest apologies. We've missed Adusa Carpenter getting into the lead.
Oh my goodness gracious me. How was that happen?
I know.
Tomlinson's second, Kovac third. I know we said Visbras came into the line, hasn't come into the pit lane. It's just dropped
if this works. No, she's already in the lead here.
Yeah, so it's already made their way through. Tomlinson there, and actually worth mentioning as well, we've said it with like how he's over it, he's staying consistent in these races, and he finds himself in sixth, not too far off the leading pack. So that's something to bear in mind as well.
Well, I was trying to find when it just got into the lead to pull that back for him, but no, it's just been there for a while, at least a minute in the lead, and holding on to it now, trying to build that gap.
Well, there's such a pack of cars running up behind her at the moment. As you can see, look, they're all still there. So really needs to try to get away from Dan Tomlinson. If Tomlinson's struggling for pace, just needs to try and extend that gap a while. Kovac, Kleiner, and Cowley are trying to get through. And actually, it looks like Kovac is already going for a move. This is going to be bold into Eau Rouge, down the inside, and just about wasn't alongside there. Good job they were. Otherwise, might be a bit of high speed aero accident. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but going now down the straight into Le Comps and onto the brakes now. It doesn't seem like the Kovac got a great slipstream coming through that part of the circuit. I think the overtake at the bottom of the hill basically compromised the rest of the straight, and it does mean that it's still Tomlinson in second, Kovac in third, Steiner fourth. Good running from Steiner as well as being fourth. Fifth, Cowley now. Hines now down to sixth, but Wood has managed to stay in seventh, Stevens eighth, Levick ninth, 10th is Angela Scotty, and Leon Bismarck off from there. I don't know Bismarck's not so early, but now down to 11th. There's been a wild strategic call there as all these things in the LMGT3 field being mapped.
Yeah, I think that was one of the early people who've run into trouble in the GT3 field and now having to fight their way back through. But these guys are pushing. I think a lot of those early stoppers ran afoul of damage in the early parts of the race, so they're now having to try and make their way back. But it's meant that we've got the grid very mixed up amidst each other in the middle of the pack here. We've got GT3s mixing it with the LMP2s, and the GT3 fight. Chris Downing in the lead, but a couple of seconds behind them. Christian Kiesig has Ben Brown threatening him.
Yeah, and well, I mean, that's important for the championship as well. After last week, Ben needs to try and score as many points as he can here, and especially ahead of Kiesig. So we need to see how this works. There's an MP2 now just between them both. Briefly stall the battle for a little bit, but we are coming into the last stages of this championship now. Obviously, we've only one round to go after this, and it's been quite a good season, hasn't it? But
this one's a big one to win as well. Double points race. Double points because it's extra long, because Lucky 8 Racing was asking in the chat. So it's a 90-minute super race here, so these guys are having to push very hard to try and make hay while the sun's shining. The last thing you want is a DNF in this race of all of them.
And obviously, with now kind of between them, Ben and Kiesig have both had a bad round themselves. Kiesig round 3 finishing 9th, and Ben not finishing last time out as well. The only thing that really keeps Kiesig in the lead of that championship by 7 points is the 2 victories they've taken compared to Ben's 2 seconds and a third. So any race now until the end of the season where Ben can place that AMG ahead of that Porsche 911 is going to be really important when it comes down to Hound next week. So these Farmers are still leading the way in this one. Dan Tomlinson half a second off now, and actually half a second ahead of Kovac, who hasn't really threatened since that attempted move we saw a few minutes ago now. But still an hour, or just under an hour and 20 minutes now to go in this race. The top 5 are all staying pretty close together. Hind dropping off a little bit, but Cowley 1.4 seconds now off the back of these guys, as you can see, really sitting on the bumper of Kovac, and this actually could be a move for third place, and actually around the outside, so much later on the brakes. I think it's going to turn in, and it's what they've done around the outside. Nicely done by James Cowley, and there's an LMP2. I think that might be Garrett Page has done there. I did mention that the Spice Week on this, it's so hard to find the throttles sometimes out of them, and I think that's what Garrett Page out there is Kovac still following Cowley, but is having to settle for place now. Cowley will now set their sights on oNiD Racing teammate Dan Tomlinson, who's about 6 tenths ahead of them, and we'll have to see what Cowley can do from here, because this top 4 is very, very close.
It really is. There's no one really getting away between them. So it's exactly what you want from a battle between racers. Really, none of these guys are up. I mean, Cowley's actually is at the sharp end of the championship. He wants to maximise his points in this race, especially with his championship rivals coming to grief.
Yeah, no, especially look, because basically everyone who's had a good result this week in the MP2 class got wiped out in turn one. But he's already got a pretty dominant lead in that championship. As I said, Lewis finished second. But stay here, he's still on the podium, so he's doing very well. He's currently about about 39 points ahead of Alfie Bevan in the championship so far. Alfie one victory, but an 8th and a 7th, and a non-start round 1. So it just shows how consistent Cowley's been compared to everyone else this season. Because all the other people who have a win have basically either finished outside the top 5 in every other race after that. So it's really, in the LMP2 class, Cowley's done just a great job of just staying consistent and staying quick and notching up those podium finishes. There's Elliot Lewis now that we will follow. He's currently in a fight with Max Farrell after them months ago. Well, I don't know if it was Max on top of the car or it was his car.
I think it was Townsend on top of his. So
okay,
he's recovering here. The BMW One Make series down on the at the far end of the GT3 field at the moment. So but they've got Johnny. In fact, just behind them, they've got Johnny actually closing in that green Porsche on fellow admin Andy Hearn. So it's.
I was going to say as well, we kind of saw this last week as well. The BMW like finally it was like BMW pack of cars. They were kind of doing the same thing last week as not Spa, Monza as well. The BMWs just seem to be all in the same space, or at least in qualifying, seem to be in all the same part of the circuit as well. So I don't know, maybe just that's the type of drivers that go from BMW similar level, or maybe just that's the level that the BMW seems to sit at.
And I think it's possibly that it's all drivers with around the same pace have all picked the same car in it. So we end up with a cluster of BMWs in the middle of the race. But,
and none of them use their indicators.
No. I mean, they're not true BMW drivers, clearly, because he's not right underneath the rear wing of the car in front.
Yeah, come on, guys, get there.
It's abuse here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Johnny pushing hard here, 2 tenths between them. And he's going to be very close on this run down towards the last couple of corners.
And actually, changing in the LMP2 class, I think Dixon Carpenter's had a moment. It's dropped 2 places down to 3rd now. Still only half a second off. This might just be a slipstream effect between those guys because Tomlinson, look, they're all still so close together. And it might be James Cowley going for the race lead now. So Cowley, at the start of this lap, was in 3rd, but he's right up. He is doing a BMW driver, and he is underneath the rear wing of his fellow Orica driver. So maybe as we come into brings over the chicane now, he's done it once around the outside. Cowley's hitting, no, they've hit each other. Cowley's slipping the chicane. And
Dixon Carpenter back into the lead.
Yes, as you say, Dixon Carpenter's back into the lead. I'm finding Cowley down to 4th. It is Kovac up to 3rd place now. Cowley from 0 to 0. I think that might have been helped by his teammate Dan Tomlinson there, who actually didn't lose out too badly from that little bit of contact with his teammate. But Cowley's going to have to do all that work again. And he's got an hour and 15 minutes now to do so. But Dixon Carpenter really let off whatever mistake they made in that final sector of the lap, because now they have a 1.1 second lead from the rest of these guys.
Go on, Adjuster, get the foot down. Go on. I'd love to have a new winner. It would be brilliant.
I mean, it would be. I mean, it's been a decent class. I think we've only had one repeat. Actually, no, we haven't any repeated winners in the LMP2 class. We've had, yes, James Cowley's taken 2 wins. Then we've had an Angela Scott win and an Alfie Bevan win. So 3 different winners out of 4 rounds in the LMP2 class. If Adusa was to win here today, it would be 4 different winners out of 5 rounds in the LMP2 class as well. So the LMP2s, but they keep you on your toes. They keep you on your toes. You really just don't know who's going to show up at the front of the field each round.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we love, frankly. we are going to see the weather starting to change in the near future. The clouds are building, apparently, according to the weather forecast I've got here. We're looking at rain towards the end of the race.
I mean, this is really, I mean, you think it's fine, you do think it is kind of like its own weather system, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Obviously, we had that year in the WEC where it was snowing, sunny, and raining and hailing all at the same
Yeah.
time. I actually know it
Oh!
personally. No, oh my God,
That's-
that's a big off for Johnny Ashley.
Yeah, that's a very big off.
I think that might be it.
Don't know. Let's jump on board. No, car's dead.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, gutted.
Oh. And so early into the race as well, still just over the 15 minutes mark now.
We will wait and have a look in a minute, because I've got a feeling that the replay will take a minute to come through. And I've got a feeling that might be worth watching.
That's, I was going to say that 10-18 at the start of the race, I said as well, it's going to be so tricky for the NP2 class to lap the NMGT3 through there because of the pace difference through that corner alone, and through, you're going to want to be aggressive, you're not going to want to lose time in that part of the circuit. So if you are in an MP2, you're not going to want to lose time, and you are going to risk sending it down the inside, and I think that's what's happened there. It's just I'm not sure if that was Cowley or Tomlinson, but it was just a brief kind of miscommunication between the two cars on the lapping, and obviously it's ended up with Johnny Ashley out of this race.
Well, there we go. We have what I suspect is going to be an interesting replay. Let's take a look. Yeah, just came together in the corner. That doesn't really show as much. It was exit stage left.
But it's such a tight power that front of that field, and I think that was Tomlinson at that point. Just didn't want to give up. Didn't want to give up the time to Adisa Carmenter had already lost out at an earlier point because he banged. Oh,
that's a big hit.
It is.
I imagine Johnny's wrists aren't going to be feeling too nice after that one. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure where he was going to go there. I think that was very much 2 into 1 wasn't going to go.
No, and like I said, it's kind of like, obviously Johnny's going to be frustrated by that, but then on the other hand, I think the NMP2 probably did have to back off. But then at the other point, if you're the NMP2 driver at that stage, as I keep saying, you are going to want to get past as soon as possible, because if let off there, he was going to be under all sorts of pressure from Kovacs and Tomlinson, and also had pressure on him from losing time to Adisa Carmenter as well. It was always going to be a lose-lose situation for Tomlinson there.
Absolutely. But it's I doubt that's going to earn much endearment from Johnny at the moment.
It's going to be an awkward voice call at the moment. I'm glad we're in here.
We are looking at the battle for P9 and 10 on track. Alfie Bevan trying to recover, fighting with Leon Visperus. Just coming down into that final chicane. It is Leon in front in the moment of P9, but I've got a feeling Alfie's going to want to try and make a move into the source here. If he can get the braking done. No, sticks with it. If he can stick with it now, he's going to have to draft all the way down to...
Also, can I just point out as well, I think there might be a battle for the race lead as well, because Cowley briefly went to 2 tenths behind Adisa Carpenter, so I think Carpenter's going to be under pressure of this start for the race lead. We'll come to the helicam. Oh, there's helicopter. Yeah, there's trees there. It's fine for the trees. Yeah, helicopter anyway.
Well, they're closer, so they get the benefit. Let's have it.
But yeah, anyway, through campus now as Adisa Carpenter under all sorts of pressure from James Cowley. There's Chris Stanley, the NMGT3 race leader. They're actually Adisa trying to go around the outside. That's actually a good move there, and that's going to extend the gap out to just under, well, just over actually 4:10 between the pair of them. But a good run through the final section there for Cowley. Well, actually, no, visually it looked like the gap was closing, but actually slightly extending more towards that half a second barrier between the pair of them. It should mean that Adisa should be safe coming into the bus stop chicane here from an overtake
I mean,
attempt from Cowley. It'd be a send and a half if they do. He is strong on the brakes, but he's not that strong. It would be a
oh,
fast send. And oh,
little
big moment
twitch.
there for Deucer. It's put them offline. That's given Cowley the inside out of the bus stop chicane.
Holds on
Somehow,
to it. Gets the
yeah, because
traction.
yeah, I don't know where she found that traction going off or going on the line she did, but she did. Found it, fair play. And now as we exit the course, it's actually becoming a three-way fight because Kovac just within a second of this battle as well. So 3 for the lead in the LMP2 class as we make our way down the ridge up through Radion now, past that brand new big grandstand, and it's going to look like it may be a move opportunity for James Cowley here, going for a third win of the season. Adusa Carpenter trying to defend their
Get the
first win of
run.
the season. Going to the inside. Here comes Cowley. He's going to go on the brakes. Down
Oh,
the inside. He's left it late and he's through. Oh, that is a great move.
so
Spices it up.
confident on the brakes into the corner there.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. He just had the confidence, knew he could brake a lot later than Adusa Carpenter, and well, move sorted for James Cowley, and it looks like well he's on for a third win of the season. As long as they're able to keep it in a straight line, which is proving to be quite hard at this point in the race. So don't put your money on it yet, folks. As now Adusa Carpenter is going to have to worry about Kovac, who's in the background of this battle as well. Who's just about probably somewhere between 3 attempts off of the back of Medusa at this point as well. So Medusa needs to try and go to damage recovery mode here to try and at least hold on to this second place.
Oh, a little dip of the gravel there, but I thought she's closing up again just by a couple of moments there. And loses it a little bit more through that right-hander there as they go past Tyler Hammer in the hashtag Bless Ferrari.
And well, we'll come to the braking zone for the best chicane now. Here comes the Kovac as well. Cowley extending that gap out about a second as they make their way out of the chicane, and not any issues that time for Adusa Carpenter to exit the chicane. Nice comes back within a second. As the Kovac as well is just about staying on the toes here of Adusa Carpenter as well. About 5 attempts in that gap, 6 attempts briefly it goes up to between the pair of them, and actually Kovac gets a really nice run out of this course. But this could set them up potentially for a move coming into the comms. It depends on what score when they get from this part of the second. Now up through running on that now and onto the Camel Straight. We'll see. The big gap is closing up, but I'm not too sure it's going to be close enough. The slipstream effect, I don't think it's going to be big enough. Last time around though, Kovac 6 attempts quicker, but I mean, we've got to remember as well, Adusa Carpenter was defending from James Cowley, so it was always going to be that little bit quicker over that last lap. But Kovac, about 5 attempts is the gap between the pair of them. So Adusa Carpenter just about having the pace Janis Kovac at bay at the moment, but the question is how long can they keep that white car off the back of them for?
Yes. Apologies, Honda 2015. I looked for a way to show you the lap times. I can't really find one on what we've got here, so it's not really giving me the option on the tower to give you that information. You might be able to get an individual one. Nope, it's just not doing it. Wonders of occasionally LMU's interface on that one. But in terms of lap times, I can tell you that Cowley's best lap is a 2:05.7, Edusa's a 2:06.5, and Kovac's is a 2:06.2. So not much between Edusa and Kovac, but Cowley very much starting to run away now up in front.
Yeah, the gap 2.5 seconds is the lead between Cowley and should be the third win of the season as long as things stay straightforward. But I mean, oh, actually down the inside, oh my goodness gracious me, Angela Scott down the inside on Daniel Tomlinson through the last section of the Blanchimont there through turn 18. And yeah, great move by Angela Scott. Must have been a mistake from Dan Tomlinson somewhere near going into the third sector around turn 16. And that's allowed Angela Scott back up. Oh my goodness gracious me! My thoughts have just gone. Oh, leaning on each other. That's leaning on. I think length on there. I think that was Leon Bismarck leaning straight on the side of not Proton competition. That's from Stevens Europol. Closing up again is the interior pole car onto the brakes, but lots of that front left tyre quite a bit. And now Leon Fitzpatrick struggling to get the power down off the curb while they're trying to still chase Alfie Bevan, who hasn't really broken away from this battle yet. He's still with these two guys and hasn't really broken away.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that after the pace Alfie had shown earlier on in this bowl was on pole position for this weekend, so you wouldn't have really expected him to just get away.
He hasn't pitted, so I do wonder if he's carrying a touch of aero damage from that early clash.
Yeah.
Well, that said, just as we said that, he's pulled a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah, I mean, it could have possibly have been the youngest Braz just has been able to hold him up for a while now, and this is actually Alfie's first lap running ahead of Leon, so maybe that is what we're witnessing. Because, yeah, as you say, he is opening up a little bit of a gap, and it actually looks like Leon's under a little bit of pressure now from Alex J. Wood, who's in 10th, so this is battle for 9th in the LMP2 class. Yeah, actually, probably got too close. Down in Brown P6 now, so Brown's been able to get ahead of the Porsche driver in the LMP3 class. Pesky's going to let him fourth. Metcalf, possible driver that's going to win this season in that class. So that's something to keep an eye on. As you can see, this gap is about between Alfie and Leon Vizbaraz now. And if you look to Alex J. Wood as well, who's actually gone quite a bit off the back of Vizbaraz there. So obviously a mistake from the inter-Europol driver while I wasn't looking. As now we'll come to Daniel Johansson and Elvin Blomqvist, currently fighting for 6th place in the LMGT3 class. Blomqvist, one of our regulars, Daniel Johansson, one of our newcomers to the SimGrid platform, and oNiD has been right on the pace since they've joined us, and seems to be doing a good job of keeping the MG at bay so far, about 4 tenths, or just shy of 4 tenths. Between them.
Yeah, I'm basically flicking around looking for battles at the moment, but, speaking, however, these two are about 4 tenths. Edusa, however, is very much fighting off Janos Kovacs at the moment for P2.
Yeah, so this is battle for second place. Kovac and Edusa Carpenter. So Carpenter, this gap actually has come down slightly. Last time we saw them was about 5 tenths. Now it's down to 3 tenths as they went into Brussels. Now making their way out to turn left and clear back. How goes Janis Kovac under the new race advertising boards? We'll get onto the brakes, but just before that, second advertising for the Skyrim on the left and right hand side of the circuits. They make their way now through on into 13 and 14 campus corners now. And it seems these guys just have different strengths around this circuit. Kovac was able to close the gap up to 6 tenths again, but a little mistake there. Edusa Carpenter putting the right-hand tyres onto the gravel there. That's going to close the gap up. And this LMP3 car running up ahead, one of the BMWs, I think it's been stiff, isn't going to be very useful. May have actually caused Edusa Carpenter to just check up ever so slightly. And this is going to give Janis Kovac an opportunity to go for second place. It's going to be really close as they come into turn 18. It looks like Kovac had to let off a little bit there, though. You heard a little bit of the throttle wheeze down as they now come into the braking zone. It's going to be a look up the inside from Kovac, but just isn't close enough. It has forced Edusa Carpenter offline, so they are going to struggle to get back onto the power as they come back onto the start-finish straight now past the pit lane and the grandstand and up towards the braking zone for La Source again. Is Kovac going to look down the inside?
Very close.
It's very close between the pair of them, but somehow comes just in ahead.
Will say, Carpenter's car looks very understeering by comparison to some of the others. Especially seeing just as they come out of the, I can never remember corner names, the long left-hander. And she's just running it that, and out of pit path. Yeah, and out of pit path, just running it that little bit wide as the car doesn't turn quite as much as she seems to want it to.
Yeah, and that's weird because I find this car's quite a point.
Yeah.
Like compared to the LMGT3, this is like this points wherever you want it to go. It's really reactive at the front end to drive. So it's weird to see it with, yeah, like you say, just a lot of understeer.
I wonder if she's taken off downforce to go for straight line, and that will mean that she's not getting the mid-corner grip.
Yeah, but actually, that would explain why this defense is playing so well because
Hmm.
obviously it's going to struggle in these corners now. But really, this isn't going to be quite too many overtaking chances for Yanis Kovac to get past. Where he is going to want to get through is up towards the comms
Hmm.
after the Kemmel Straight, or maybe into the Source, or maybe down the hill into Radion and Eau Rouge. We could have seen Yanis try and go for a move there, or in this section of the here. And the good thing is, obviously, running that lower wing setup, it is going to protect Adusa Carpenter from that slipstream effect coming into these corners. So as you can see, Kovac struggling to catch up slightly, but actually he's closer this time around. So looking to the inside, here
Much
comes
closer.
Yanis Kovac down the inside for second place. Is he going to be able to hold on? Adusa Carpenter, she's got the inside, but Kovac was trying to go for the slipstream switch back, but just couldn't do it because
Very
a
well
great
defended.
piece of positioning there, yeah, as you say, by Adusa Carpenter to put the car in the middle of the circuit. Yanis is going to go back down the inside, but it's not going to be close enough. And all this is doing is bringing Angela Scott into this battle as well. There she is in the background, looking remote, a lot closer than she was from other times around. So now, as we come back through Eau Rouge into Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, we'll see. Oh, actually, bit cheeky there by Kovac. Has a big cut, but actually, that's helped massively going down the back straight into the slipstream now, right tucked in. Adisa Carpenter knows she's under pressure. Down the inside comes Kovac. Janet Kovac for second place in the class. They're going to bang
Oh,
wheels. He's going to cause Adisa to cut the chicane ever so slightly, and I think Kovac is going to take position. Just about goes onto the gravel there,
another
and
wheel
it's going
bang.
to
And that's
muscle their way
Scotty's
through.
right in with him now.
Yeah, Scotty almost pushing Dusa Carpenter through turn 9 of Lacombe, and somehow Kovac is up to second, and it could be actually Dusa Carpenter falling off the podium after leading this race because Angela Scott's really putting on the pressure now as they make their way towards Boulogne.
Yes, indeed. They are tooth and nail between. Couldn't put a cigarette paper between. Kovac runs wide.
Kovac running wide and goes from second to fourth in one corner. That was a slight mistake from Yanis Kovac, and actually that's cost him a podium because now Angela Scott moves up into third and Dusa Carpenter back up to second where they started this lap. So it's a bit of a repeat from Monza now. Dusa Carpenter versus Angela Scott for second place in this class. And you've got to remember as well, for James Cowley running up at the front of the field, Angela Scott qualified into the second row of the grid for this race. So it's going to put them under some pressure. And here comes Angela Scott to the outside as we make our way into Portugal now. Turn 17. It's going to be ahead before even turn 18.
Oh,
Yes, brilliant move around the outside to take second place by Angela Scott. And it's Dusa comes to make him start coming back, but it's going to run it very deep into the corner. And actually, Kovac may have an opportunity here to go up into third. It's going to follow Dusa Carpenter onto the straight and actually could have a chance coming him up into the Source there. We'll have a look. Here comes Kovac to the inside into the
yeah.
Source, and I think that's going to be moved down the
No.
inside. This is going to try and come back up underneath, but better traction for Kovac should lead third.
Bit of a lock from a juicer there that just kept her going straight rather than letting her turn it. Not what she'd have wanted, but she's still putting in a hell of a performance in this race. Led for the better part of half an hour, and is fighting back for P3.
Yeah, I was going to say, it isn't giving up. It's going to the outside as we come into Lacombe. It's going to be Kovac who's messed with the late breaker slope, but along that tyre line, so it's going to force him off a little bit. It's going to compromise him, but actually, no, it doesn't look like Jesus has been able to come back with this section. It's going to get a great run out turn 9, and actually may have an opportunity towards Brussels here. It's going to look to the outside. Kovac forced to go defensive to the inside. That's going to force him offline again, so it could mean inside opens up on the exit for Dusa Carpenter, but no, I think that's going to be Kovac who defended it as long as they don't make the tickets go on again.
If Adusa has dropped her wing, as we suspect, that would explain why her braking's not as effective as the cars who've been around her as well. She just won't be getting the... she'll be faster in that straight line, but she won't be getting that drag to help the braking.
No, and the only good thing for her now is that if she can't come back and Kovac, there is about a 5-second gap between them. So, and actually Kovac held up a little bit by that MT3. Oh, he's going to squeeze that MT3 off the road. I think that's Andy Hearn, and luckily no contact made between them, and I had both of them all still facing in the right direction, so that's always good.
There's nothing over here. I will say that it was a 9-second gap when Scotty passed Edusa for second. It's down to 5 seconds already. Oh, that won't help.
It's run deep though, and it's fun, and that could lose some second, and it has. There goes Kovac up to second again. Batista comes to up to third, and it's Tomlinson nearly up to fourth there, just about Angela Scott getting it corrected the right way again. But yeah, that yeah, sorry Ben, I think you cursed.
Yeah, we don't. But I think I cursed Scotty there. She's not going to be happy with me for that one.
No, again, these Reduced come to back up for third now. Kovac into second now, and James Cowley. I think I take Cowley and Kovac is an awkward moment there for the NB2 catching Janus Johansson there. But Brent Brown now under some pressure from Christian Kiesig.
This is indeed. These guys are a little bit. Actually, still about 5 seconds back from Chris Downing in the lead of the GT3, LMGT3 class. I'm being thrown off slightly because Dave Wood was in the mix there, so it was throwing off my timing slightly. But yeah, it's about 3.5 seconds back, still trying to close down that gap to the lead. But these two have been fighting tooth and nail for the last 40 minutes, nearly.
And it is important for Ben's championship, this, because obviously, so far, as I said, both of them in the championship, they've both had one bad race. Obviously, he's taken the 2 victories, and Ben's taken the 2 seconds, and both have the third proof. So now until the end of the season, anywhere where Ben can finish ahead of Christian Kiesig will close them up in the championship. So this is important for Ben in terms of championship results, that he is able to keep ahead of Kiesig at this point in the season. And if Kiesig goes through now, it could be costly to Ben's championship chances. So we'll have to keep an eye on this battle closely.
I'm just having a quick look through, because one thing we haven't taken into account so far is fuel usage. We don't see it for the LMP2s because they don't use virtual energy. However, Chris Downing and Ben Brown on 22%, both exactly there. Christian Kiesig on 28% remaining.
I mean, we should have guessed it.
Yeah. He's managed to save over about a lap and a half's extra fuel over Ben Brown ahead.
Which will come in handy when the pit stop happens, because it will obviously mean they won't have to, with this little bit of extra in the system, it means they can come in a little bit later and they won't have to put nearly as much in as Ben will. And Ben comes in that little bit earlier on. So that is, in terms of net, that probably does mean that Christian Kiesig is running ahead in the field at the moment, just through the pit strategy. As Angela Scott won a charge, considering that he's spent a few moments ago, already up to third.
She is definitely setting the pace. She's faster than everyone around her. Best lap of a 2:04.909 to James Cowley's 2:05.4.
I don't know if you can tell me if Angela came in as well. If that guy out in that first corner,
yeah.
Oh, it has been.
No, she's not been. She's not been in the pit. She's been fighting back this whole time.
She seemed to be the one that Dave hit the hardest, because it was obviously she ran a little bit wide, and when he went into the rear, so you would have thought that car had a little bit of rear end, like aero damage. So I'm surprised, like compared to Alpha, who seems to be struggling with some sort of damage. I suppose this car isn't struggling either, but yeah, Angela's putting on.
Yeah. Just kept it going. 50 minutes remaining in the race. We're just a few minutes off the halfway point. And it's still everything to play for. I'm not convinced this isn't going to be Scotty in for the win. And I'm not sure. The problem is, without the fuel for the LMP2s, I have no idea when they're going to have to come in for their pits.
That's the way that from even from Kovac. As you said, it was about a 9-second gap, like when these guys were fighting originally. So and I think when Kovac went to second a few moments ago, it was about 7 seconds to gap. And now I've got the point. It has gone up to 8. but that gap doesn't really seem to be going up either between Kovac and Cowley. So James Cowley either just managing the race at the front of the field as it currently stands, knowing the cars behind him are running that little bit slower, or just he's struggling a little bit for pace at this part in the race. So another driver that hasn't stopped after being involved in that lap one melee of cars. So that's I'd have to agree with you. I really don't think this LMP2 class is decided yet. That is it is a big 7 second gap, but I think if Angela can catch up to the back of Kovac, then get past it, really it is going to be up to her to hunt that Cowley down, and I mean it will set us up for a nice ending or whenever
Absolutely.
Angela catches up.
And we know that Scotty likes a fuel save as well. So if she's managed to keep a little bit extra in the tank compared to the guys around her, she could be playing this into a neat place. She's right up on the back of Kovacs already. I would say she doesn't seem to be fuel saving an awful lot, does she?
No, she seems to be absolutely flying at this point in the race. So I mean, we've said that before. We're like, wow, they're going massively quickly, and it's like, oh wait, oh no, again. I mean, that's not necessarily fuel saving driving there. As they push the car a little bit off the circuit. There's Garrett Page off in the gravel again. I'm having a good time in that LMP2.
He doesn't seem to be overly fond, or actually no, I think he likes driving them. He was saying this to me on Wednesday in the academy. He loves driving them, he just doesn't seem to be able to get good results out of them. And they tend to not like him very much.
I mean, they are fun to drive, but they do punish.
Oh yeah, one mistake and they will turn round on you. Scotty right up on the back here. Don't think she's going to be quite close enough to make the move into the source unless she's very dive bombing, which she isn't fond of a dive bomb, is Scotty. So but Kovac's trapped up a little bit behind Tyler Hammer on the exit there.
Yeah, and the gap's really going up again to Cowley. Briefly there went up to 9 seconds because of the traffic, but Kovac still just about within that 8 second mark of James Cowley. But that's interesting. I think Cowley's still for more traffic as well because it came down quite quickly there to 8.5. So this traffic's really going to decide how much Kovac and Scotty catch to Cowley once they stop fighting, as where he gets from the Mercedes AMPs. And actually, that's a good opportunity to actually try coming into Brussels, but didn't feel, as you say, didn't feel like they were close enough and isn't a fan of a dive bomb, so did not go for it there. Alfie Bevan up to 6th now on that track. They met the way past China, as now we start the descent down to go on. And we've seen Kovac struggle through here, run wide one, actually second place one time around it, but it's actually I think to that corner bell and roughly that time as the gap opens up slightly as they make their way into the campus corners now, and Angela Scott, he's going to have to try and set themselves up to move into the bus stop, but we have actually seen them get a great run through this next set of corners through 15 and 16 here. It just seems like Angela gets a little bit better of a run than the rest of the MP2 field, which just gives them a nice little pace advantage, and obviously with the help of this tow, lets them get nice and close to the rear of the NP2 car. They're fighting, but this time around it isn't closing up that much. The gap just away from over 2 temps, now under 2 temps, and actually this is going to be overtaken surely into the bus stop, but no, it's not gone for it.
Thinks better of it.
Yeah.
I think it was just, she knew she'd have to be very late on the brakes to get there, and if you've played with these LMP2s a bit, they do like to lock their brakes if you are a bit over exuberant on them. So that might have been save the brakes, save the tyres. You've got to be thinking pit stop soon. Yeah. So do you want to take the gamble, or do you want to wait until after then?
And also, if they're thinking of trying to close the gap with Cowley as well, you want to save your tyres for that. Obviously, I think Scotty knows they're faster than Kovac, and they're faster at some point. So they're just waiting, biding their time for an easier, more perfect opportunity so they can get through without taking too much damage, without taking too much life away from the tyres, so that they can at least push to close that gap down a little bit more for Cowley. It is going down still, 7.6 between Kovac and Cowley. So Kovac even having the pace on the oNiD driver running up ahead. And this is with them under pressure from faster DK Engineering livered Angela Scott driven car as they now make their way towards Huon as Scotty, they're both kind of
Much
dropped to do
closer
some
this
harm as
time.
well.
Yeah. We are seeing those first pit stops as well. Steiner, Bevan and Tomlinson all into the pits.
Be interesting to see how long Bevan stops for, if they decide to fix that damage or not.
I mean, we're guessing damage, but
Yeah.
it's
It's
been
weird considering. Oh, sorry.
49.5 seconds out he was stopped by. That's tyres at least. I suspect a little bit of damage repair as well.
I was going to say, it's just weird that Angela Scotty qualified on the front row of the grid with Alfie and just seems to have come through this a lot quicker. So I mean, it may have been the consequence of how they ended up after that.
Yeah.
Crash at someone, but it just seems weird how much quicker she's been able to make her way through the field as they now come through turn one. Oh, both of them into the pit lane and just pushing Kovac into the pit lane. Go quicker, she says. As Kovac just is obviously not as comfortable with that pit entry
Cowley
as
in the pits
Angela
as well.
Scotty is. Okay, so everyone in all at the same time here. So let's see where everyone comes out.
I don't normally like to watch pit stops on stream, but this is for the overall lead. I think it's probably worth keeping an eye on. Juicer Carpenter in as well. Top four all in this lap. Let's see, Cowley's been stopped for 25 seconds so far. It was 50 seconds for the earlier stoppers. Let's see. So that's Visperus in, so he was in that group. Let's see. We're going to see the lead shuffle around now as people come in for their pit stops, and let's see if any. Is that Scotty? That is Scotty.
What?
Scotty's made the jump. She's out. She's done.
Yeah, and actually,
It's Usa behind her, and Cowley is still stopped.
interesting.
So does that mean that... Interesting. So does that mean Cowley's... Obviously, we saw Cowley was involved in that turn one incident, so maybe he's gone to fix the damage, whereas Scotty hasn't, or maybe just a matter of the better fuel saving for Medusa and Scotty at this point in the race.
I suspect it might. Yeah, it didn't. I will say, Scotty didn't look like she was fuel saving. Neither was Medusa, really. I just don't think Scotty took much damage in that hit. You can take a damage to the side panels on the LMP2s and not come away too badly. But Jane's going to lose a ton of time now because Scotty's out. She's heading up the hill, and she's long gone here. She's right behind Dave Woods.
I was going to say, I think she's taking this really seriously as well, because I've just looked above me. And always going straight on though, so the cold tyres really costing them the net lead in this race potentially as Dusa Carpenter is not able to take advantage of that. But Dusa, actually, we should point this out though, Dusa has made a mega stop here as well, because it has close up to Angela Scotty within themselves. There's arguably kind of, well, not necessarily a better job, but it's done a good job at getting close.
Wow. Angela Scotty, 43.2 seconds stop. Juicer Carpenter, 43 dead. James Cowley, 1 minute 2. There's definitely been some tyres taken.
Yes.
Given those times. I suspect James has repaired some damage as well. Because that's an extra 20 seconds nearly.
Yeah, so well, I'm really surprised that Angela doesn't have any damage. That guy seems, the one we're watching now, seems to be the one that's it was good, but straight into the right rear of this car. I mean, it was like a pretty decent max, so I was surprised it hasn't got the rear end downfall damage, but obviously not. It's well away with it.
She is carrying some damage. There's damaged body textures on the. I only just noticed it as they were coming from the camera angles. They were coming through Blanchemont there. There's damaged body textures on the right hand side.
Do you think it's like just one of those things that's like it's damaged, but actually it's made the car drive better?
Yeah, I think she's just taking damage. She's basically just taking panel damage.
Yeah.
It's a that'll buff out situation.
Yeah, actually, we're kind of talking and praising her at the moment, but Deuce Carter out of the pit lane here
And
seems
he's
to be the one with the greater pace.
looking rapid. Fresh tyres. And he's closing. If 38 minutes left, so they're past the halfway point. So
And if,
presumably they can go. They can go to the finish. We are expecting rain
okay,
in the
and
last
this,
quarter of the race.
right, interesting. I'm just kind of processing it because I think Deuce Carter, it may just be, obviously, we feared that they might be running left wing, and obviously, I think that's going to put a lot more. Well, I'm going to try and explain this. It's going to put a lot more. Well, it's going to take a lot more life out of the players running that left wing as well. So obviously, maybe we did see them start to fall away at the end of that last stint. So potentially, now obviously with a new set of tyres again, is finding that pace in the car and is just as quick as they were when they were leading this race at the start of the string. So. Yeah, that
She-
worked on that, but it's in that the gap's now 2 seconds.
Yeah, she got Adusa got stuck behind a BMW GT3 there, and just didn't want to make the pass going through Puon. So it was, I mean, but discretion better part of valor there, but it's given her a big drop behind Scotty there.
He's acknowledged it in the lead of the three class. If you look back at them before, obviously had a lot more energy compared to the rest of the LMP2 runners. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this car comes back out on the circuit, just to see if it's. Well, I don't know if it'll be ahead of Downing, but Downing actually quite far back on the circuit. Only going through campus now was the Porsche from pit lane. But obviously, it's such a long pit here, starting at the top of the circuit on the new pits, and then right hand side.
She is down and moving. Let's see where Downing's gonna come out. It's quite a distance between them.
Because Downing only now making the and still got quite a bit of the circuit to go. This is going to be interesting to see how this works. We know very good at making these course work, and that's interesting. That looks like a McLaren really on. I'm going to read that Johansson's bit. Well, actually, no, he's on the order. So I don't know who's that was Norwich rear wing template on the outside of Watchmont. So we're not too sure where that's off. We haven't seen any more retirements with Townsend, Doric, and Ashley. Anyway, here comes Christian Kiesig out of the pit lane. 7 seconds is the gap, and obviously they're going to have colder tyres here as they come out, and that's where the rear wings come from. That's one of the Mercedes. There's there we go, onto the straight comes Christian Kiesig, surrounded by a gaggle of LMP2 cars, and there's Chris Downing. So actually, Christian Kiesig, with that little bit of saving, has taken the LMP2 lead away.
The big loser in this situation, it appears to be Ben Brown, 23 seconds off the back of these two.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there for Ben. Obviously, these two are able to save a lot better, and obviously, splitting the strategy. Obviously, this gap's going to come down before Kiesig and Chris Downing as well. So Kiesig's still got to try and bring temperature into those Michelin.
Right.
Was it Goodyear in this series?
I think it must. No, I think it is Goodyear, isn't it? Because they do the Wingfoot award, don't they?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Pit stop times for the top 3 in GT3. Christian Kiesig, 29 seconds. Chris Downing, 36.5. Ben Brown, 47.2. So I wonder if these guys are gambling on having to do another stop for this predicted bad weather we're going to have coming in.
I mean, that's interesting. That's that's going to have huge ramifications on the LMP3 championship battle between Ben Brown and Kiesig. Obviously, both of them going to split that. Obviously, maybe that's why Ben's gone different. I mean, well, actually, well, maybe that's why Kiesig's on different ground, betting on this rain being so bad that they will all have to come in again. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, Ben doesn't think so, being that little bit longer.
We are going to go to a quick replay
Okay.
because carnage for
Oh.
James Cowley.
Oh, championship leader in trouble by the sounds of it. Then yes, down to 10th place. What's happened here? Daniel Tomlinson running with him, and here they come around. I think that's only iron. And it's been.
Oh, that's a big hit.
That's a really big hit. He's lucky to still have that right rear tyre. Problem right there.
Very much. Yeah, let's go back to live and let's have a look at. Oh, he's preparing damage.
Yeah, okay, so that's James Cowley.
Massively drop him.
Yeah.
This is championship advantage. Alfie Bevan, who is back up to P4.
Yes, it is indeed. This will be, well, obviously this will be the drop round for Alfie Bevan. And actually, Alfie, it's going to be hard to come back in. He's got to have an absolutely awful last 3 rounds. Actually, last 2 rounds of the championship, the last one next week. Because he's taken, so he's won at second. Worst of all the season so far, as he's where even is in that wait, no, it's the LMGT3, so that's why I can't see him. But he's obviously not outside the top 10 in the LMP2 class. Oh, it's alright. In the LMP2 class. And yeah, so it will be his drop round, and he still will have much more consistency than Alfie's had so far. But it does give him a little bit of a glimpse here coming into the final 2 rounds, Alfie. But it's difficult to come back.
It is his dropped round, but this is a double points round.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I didn't forget that. No, you're right.
Can this round be used as a dropped round? I need to check that.
I think
you can specify rounds to not count as dropped rounds.
Right.
I will have a quick look.
Thank you. I'll speaking.
No, just can't. One dropped round only. So if this ends up being Cowley's worst round and he's dropping it,
yeah,
it's literally the one round you don't want to drop.
And technically, if Alfie's actually able to get Tomlinson here, goes up to 3rd, that's basically the equivalent of 2 third-place finishes. So that would be one worse than the 2 second-place finishes that Cowley's had so far this season. So if Alfie's able to make up one more place, yeah, this actually does really open the championship up. It does unexpectedly after what we've seen so far this season. But it could bring Alfie Bevans right back into the championship battle in the LMP2 class, depending on if he can get any closer to Adusa Carmenter and Angela Slothy, who now 90 seconds up the road. But you've got to remember, this was the boldest car in the field for its little incident at 1-1 with all the other top 4 runners.
68 points Bevan is taking here for this for a third place finish. His current gap to James Cowley, this is not counting drop scores. His current gap to James Cowley is 78 points. I'm not sure how it'll be once the drop scores come into play, but on raw scores, it's taking it down to a 10-point gap between the two. But that said, Dan Tomlinson and Adusa Carpenter are still in this as well, and Carpenter ahead of Alfie Bevan at the moment by quite some distance, and is only 69 points. 71 points behind James Cowley. This could throw the entire LMP2 championship on its head, basically.
So, yeah, I mean, it really has shaken up. Because as you said, Cowley's been so consistent. I mean, this is the wrong round he needed to be consistent again in, but it just hasn't happened because, as I said, he's according to SimGrid at the moment, his drop round is round 2, and that's a 2nd place finish.
Yeah.
So this has really been costly. This is really costly for his championship. It really opens up the door to a lot of the runners, especially Alfie, who if he can make his way any closer to come to a spot, and obviously with the weather still expected in this race as well, it's nowhere near done and dusted, even with that gap ahead. And Alfie still kind of bringing it down as well. He's still got plenty of time to close. Just
If
under, well, actually, just over 9 minutes now to go in this session. It's really opened this all up.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out, but if things stay as they are, this could put either a Juicer Carpenter or Dan Tomlinson into the championship lead with 1 week to go. It will be very slim margins if it does, but this could be absolutely astonishing.
Yeah. I'm speechless, Ben. I don't know what to say. It really has kind of opened this whole class up a little bit. I thought it was going to be the LMGT3s that we're going to be watching for the British Championship. As I said, Ben Brown is only coming into this round 7 points back, and then it's followed by Tom Metcalf, who's about 27 points back in that class. So yeah, the LMP2. I mean, the LMP2. So it just kind of it sums up their season. It is just flip flop. What
Yeah.
you guess what's going to happen with us, because it's just you've been watching someone lead the race dominantly for like half an hour or so, and then next thing you know, they've thrown it off the circuit.
Oh, actually, on the dropped scores, it could push Angela Scott straight into the top, because her drop is. Because I was looking at the raw data, which shows just the raw scores, which have a little bit more on them. Angela Scott her dropped rounds a DNF.
Yeah.
And yeah, this could really throw a spanner in the works for a lot of people.
It could, because at the moment, it's between Angela and Alfie, it's only 4 points between them, and they're both pretty similar in terms of results on their off weekends and on their on weekends. So, yeah, it really brings Alfie and Angela, right, well, especially Angela now, right back into this LMP2 championship. And, right, I mean, this just shows how costly of a mistake it has been for James Cowley. It wasn't even Cowley. I think it was a costly mistake. It's Nick Racing with Tomlinson accidentally pushing off the championship leader.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. It could. My maths skills are tenuous at the best of times, and trying to figure this one out, it could literally go anywhere. Something has happened to Ben Brown.
And that's massive for the LMGT3 championship then. Brown looking like they're struggling for a front-end grip. That car's not turning in.
No, let's have a nosy. Is this going to be a Mercedes doing Mercedes things again? Hang on.
I think it's already happened at this point, because Yannick was already ahead. The outlet of the Aston Martin a little bit further up the road.
Yeah, I think it's lying to me.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yes.
And Ben Brown is stopped.
Oh.
Or appears to be. Either that or something's gone very wrong.
Yeah, I
No,
know you're
Ben
right.
Brown
Yes, he's
out.
out. Oh, that's massive for the LMGT3 championship.
Yeah, that's a.
It looks like we've had a repeat of Monza.
Let's have a look, because something definitely did happen on that one.
Yeah.
Once it decides what the weather's going to be for the replay.
I was going to say, it's a front end grip, and that's going to be the MP2. So I'm going to take a guess and say that's either Leon Fitzpatrick or Alfie Bevanson. He's just caught him, and then they've come together in the gravel trap as well.
That was Leon Vistras. I've got the instant signatures are exactly the same.
It's that awkward corner. It's that awkward turn 18 to try and lap each other. And I mean, to be honest, Leon, again, obviously doesn't want to lose too much time, but compared to the accident we saw earlier, isn't under as much pressure as the other end. Let's just see it here.
Oof. Two very big hits there, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's both of them out. Left rear gone for Leon Vizwaras. Oh, devastating.
And dead engine. Yeah, both of them. What a pity.
I mean, It just looked like an awkward moment, to be fair, for the pair of them.
Yeah, always a risk in that corner.
It is. You're completely right, and it's just not worked out for me on this price. They wanted to go for the outside, but the LM, and that car was always going to drag out wide, especially if I didn't do anything on. And yeah, sadly, that means both of them are now out the race, and one's going to have to do it. And Townsend at this point, as we'll follow Angela Scotti, who's following, I think that's from Webber behind James, Iron Links, I mean, LMP2 car. As they'll make their way over the hill now, past Kieslig, who's still leading the way in the LMGT3 class. But 5 seconds is now the gap. As into the braking zone now comes Angelo Scotti, and now ahead of Devitt with a lap. And gap now 7 seconds between Adisa Carpenter. So Adisa obviously falling back, but is Adisa still 14 seconds ahead of Alfie. So Alfie's not really lighting up the circuit. He is closing down to Adisa, but it's not really at the pace it needs to be for race victory.
Yeah,
It might be closer. Oh, carry on.
he's in no man's land. He's got no one to really follow to try and help him move forward. And he's got a big old gap behind him to Dan Tomlinson. So
That's
it's a nice place to be in some way because you can just get your head down and nail in laps. But yeah, it's not helpful to getting overall pace, especially in a one-make championship.
no, as within 13 seconds now of Adisa Carpenter, but it's going to be interesting to see how close Alfie can get with about 22 minutes and 35 seconds. So it's going to be close with the pace that he's closing down to Adisa. So we'll keep an eye on it, but we'll see if Alfie's able to sustain the pressure that he's putting on. Actually, the gap again was about 5 minutes lower than it was the lap before. Alfie is now making his way towards Portugal. But it is slowly coming out, Alfie. It's just going to depend where he meets traffic, and where Adisa meets traffic, I think, for how quickly they will catch up. So we'll see if he comes past Tyler Hammer.
3/4 of the race completed. This is where the weather forecast is telling us we should be expecting rain.
Yes.
So
And it does look dark.
So keep an eye on those windscreen wipers. Those will be our first indicator, really, because it takes a little while for the visual rain to kick in from the stream cameras. But
Yeah.
look, we're definitely clearly, I think we are seeing some guys coming into the pits.
Yeah, Page, Silver, Muller.
Jacob Hine into the pits as well.
Yes, obviously that suggests there might be some rain falling on circuit. And these are our early adopters, so obviously they must be expecting a bit of a downpour, because I assume the only reason they're coming now is because of fires. So that's interesting to see if those early adopters, if it does work out for them. Obviously, a lot of them not really in fighting positions. So, oh, and actually, yeah, is that a little bit wet on the
No,
screen?
those look like dirt. Those look like rubber pings off the screen. Nothing really showing from this view as of yet.
No.
From the driver's eye view, but clearly some people are thinking that it's worth pitting again to get to the end at the very least.
Yeah. Oh no, their wind wipers are on.
Oh.
Dan Stephens is on, and I think that was we're following Stephens, who's ahead of Stan Morgan. Charlie Morgan's was on
It
as
begins.
well. So that's the rain's coming. Yeah, here it comes. Here comes the rain. Here it comes, and this is where it's going to get interesting. Obviously, Cowley into the pit lane as well now, so Cowley not much to lose in this race, and needs to make their way back up through. So an early stop could prove to be a good one or a bad one. He's not got much to lose, and we'll find out in a couple of minutes' time. 20 minutes now to go in the remainder of this race. We're about an hour and a half of racing, but it's still over if you're only just joining us here on the oNiD channel, because the rain is about to start falling, and this is when it will get tricky for some of our drivers. He's away from Downing and Blomqvist now in the LMP3 class after we saw Ben Brown retire from the race due to some contact with an LMP2 runner, Leon Vizbras. in earlier on in this race. It's about 7th for now, following between John Metcalf and I think Max Farrell as well. Just right behind as well. So the BMWs are finally driven circuit.
They are indeed. And the question is, realistically, you can run up to slicks until the race engineer says it's time to come in and get some wets now. That tends to be the best indicator that it's time to get that change done. If you're confident, you can try for a bit longer.
I think I've seen things. I'm not sure, but I thought I was starting to see some spray come up from Farrell's car through go on. But I don't think I did. I think I'm just hoping because I was seeing some wet. But actually, this is a move for Farrell now on the inside for 7th place. Oh, a little bit of contact between the pair of them. Wheel banging as Farrell goes past John Metcalf. Lightning McQueen moves down some positions. Not used to this circuit racing. Never mind. But actually, he's not giving up on it though. Here comes John Metcalf back to the outside, and well, John Metcalf is a person that is used to this type of racing. Actually, I think it was champion last time out in the SimGrid Academy, but gets a little bit of contact with Max Farrell again. Just about keeps pacing in the right direction as they come back onto the start-finish straight, but we'll have to settle for 8th now as Farrell moves to 7th ahead of our former race winner in John Metcalf as they can make their way back down the hill towards Radion as the gap between actually what happened there, what's happened, how's the Deuce now behind Alfie?
Oh, now that I genuinely can't even see.
Yeah, 5 seconds is the gap, and struggling. I think this may be the wet weather.
I think it might be a juicer making the call, I think.
Oh, and damage. It's crabbing. That car is crabbing.
Oh, no.
So juicer car has damage to that. To their NMP2 car. Look, Bill is facing at a 90-degree angle, Ben.
Very broken. Oh, no.
So what's happened there?
She's had an absolutely belting race so far. And we'll now have to repair that damage, get on those wet tyres, and go from there.
Yeah, it's just going to be another one of our leading runners dropping like a rock through the order. I mean, at least they can repair the damage and get some tyres here, but it's going to lose them a whole bunch of time. Yeah. There goes Dan Tomlinson past Deuce Carbon. So Sabbath Tomlinson actually up into 3rd in the LMP2 class. It's still in the lead is Angela Scotty, doing a good job. Interesting as well. I thought that guy would have revenge damage, but it's doing well in these weather conditions. Isn't struggling too much. He's going to have to try and dive through past Max Farrell, who's gone behind on Metcalf again on this lap, and there goes through past one BMW, two BMWs. But this race is over. One of our drivers that's been at the front for the majority of this an hour and a half race, with only 16 minutes to go, is finding themselves dropping massively down that LMP2 order, down to 7th in the class. But I think, Ben, I think you're going to take us through who's on wet.
Yes, it doesn't show up very clearly. Top 4 are still on mediums. The first runner on wet, Dan Tomlinson, who we just saw stopping. And Scotty carries on. Must feel very, very confident on these slicks at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, what? I mean, it doesn't look like that car struck in the direction. Obviously, there's momentum in more one of those more drivers that's a kind of, what am I trying to say here? It's kind of more accepting that with the assist, and there's kind of the traction control maybe ever so slightly, and it's trying to make these dry tyres last as long as they possibly can, as Alfie Bevan actually into the pit lane now. So this is very bold from Angela Scott to run this late into the race, because it really seems like a lot of the top runners that she's been fighting with throughout this session and throughout qualifying have decided to come in for the wet weather tyres on this lap or the lap before. So we'll have to see if Scotty's pace, if it will be able to continue at what it's been, or if it will drop off over this next lap.
Ben Brown in the chat was on wet tyres from stop and was one lap away from rain. I thought I did see the wets on the side of the car when it was up against the wall. But yeah, that wouldn't have helped with the grip up until now. But now the rain is starting to come down. We are showing that it's only going to get to about 5% wetness on track. Obviously subject to change, but the rain level is increasing.
Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, we've only got wetness on the track. I'm not surprised that Angela's still out at this point because those dry tyres should still be working at this point. So I didn't. There's no need to come in yet. But everyone else, I don't know what it must be feeling like for them because everyone else is diving in. Stefan's
Yeah.
in, Morgan in now. Who else is in? Kiesig into the pit lane from the LMGT3 lead, Downing into the pit lane, Hearn into the pit lane in the LMGT3 class. It'll be really wild and interesting to see if Angela Scotti does come in this time around because it just seems like everyone else is. And I mean, to be in the lead of this race, there's no point in risking it on strategy now. Like, just come in and do what everyone else is doing and match them. So just try and outpace them towards the end now. We'll see. And they are into the pit lane.
Yeah. Alfie Bevan out on the wets already. This is going to be a crucial moment in the race, depending on what pace Alfie can do now to try and get past Scotty before they finish their pit stop.
But I mean, to be fair, they're even further back than Downing was when we saw them pitting and pitting, and Chris Downing still on circuit. So I think Alfie's too far back.
I think you might be right. Scotty already done her pit stop there. That's a quick tyre change. If she's fueled up to the end of the race already, you didn't need to take anything else. All she'll have done is change. So excuse me. All she'll have done is change the tyres. She's got a long run down to the end of the pit straight now. Alfie's still 37 seconds behind. I think Scotty's got this well in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I maybe them going for it a little bit too early. The wet's a little bit too early, cost them some pace, or because. But then they would have warmed up quite quickly if it was the dry circuit, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm just, yeah, I don't know.
About 20 seconds when Scotty came in, and it remains about 20 seconds when she comes out of the pits. I think she's lost at most about 3-4 seconds there.
So, yeah, no, not bad at all. So, yeah, returns pretty comfortably in the race lead for Angela Scotti. It's made that work, even though they went a lot later than the rest of their class did, or people they're flying in their class did, has made that one work out. Yeah, 12 seconds is the gap between Angela and Alfie Bevan at this point. So, and obviously, Angela's going to have to warm these tyres up, though. So that gap is going to, at least over the next lap, is going to slightly still come down a little bit more. It's going to actually come down to within 10, or nearly within 10 seconds there to Alfie. So we'll have to see how quickly Angela is able to bring the tyres up to temperature and how comfortable they are running in these wetter conditions.
Yeah, that means I think, right, everyone's on wets now, so I shall go back to something that shows us our times. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, actually. Alex J. Wood in 5th, I just saw, was on me. So that's an interesting
and he's into the pits now.
Oh.
I mean, it might... Last lap, 2:08. So I think he was losing pace there, but I think he might have maintained some track position by staying out that little lap longer.
I was going to say, in Alex Wood's 65th top 5 if he'd been able to stay there on the medium tyres. But on SimGrid, yeah. But well, yeah, it was going to be a challenge.
Yeah, nothing quite there, and he's dropping now, and he will drop behind Adjuster Carpenter in P8. And he's got a little bit of time back to Jacob Hine now in P10.
Obviously, Angela's still beating these tyres up, but that gap had to come down between Alfie and... What was that?
Definitely a bit of spray coming up now.
Definitely. What I was going to say, Angela Scotti, probably still trying to get some toe these tyres, but Alfie seems to be running quicker in these wet weather conditions. The gap now 8.4 seconds between Angela and Alfie. So Alfie seems to have the pace, and we'll have to, with 9 minutes to go in this race, is close that gap within the last lap pretty substantially. So I don't think this is over yet for the top spot in the LMP2 class because, as I keep saying, Alfie is quick.
Yep, catching, however, is one thing, passing is another. and but it's it's a big gap to overhaul, even with Alfie's pace, and with 9.5 minutes left, maybe getting the extra lap it will depend on where whoever's in P1 is on track at the time. But it's a big ask to chase that gap down.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it is coming down quick. Yeah, now it's within 7 seconds now between Alfie and Angela. And I suppose it all just depends how confident Angela is in this like weather conditions, and where she meets the LMP2 runners, like not LMP2, LMGT3 runners, and about limiting their mistakes at this late stage in the race on less than optimal circuits at the moment. So yeah, gap now 7.6 seconds as we see the track map now popping. Well, I see the track map popping up, and as you can see, yeah, going through P1 now comes Angela Scotti, and is the gap stabilising a little bit now at 7.4, 7.3. But we'll have to see what Alfie can do, and it does seem like he's pushing.
Yes, we've got a track map. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear on the stream, but we are working with it because I finally figured out how to turn it on for us. But yeah, a lot of these guys still pushing on. Pack very spread out at the moment, but that's Alfie is on a charge behind Scotty here.
That gap is oh my goodness, Angela's got off the road into the gravel. Luckily, whoever that LMGT3 was didn't collect her, and luckily she didn't get loose on that gravel and is able to keep the car out of the walls and out of the whatever that was.
So that was Chris Bell.
Actually, that's brought Alfie right back into this. 5.022 was the gap before we went to the break. So here it is, yeah, it's Christopher Bell sticking to the inside and is just carrying so much speed without a rear wing and it's runs to the inside of the circuit. He's lucky not to get the LMP2 leader there, but luckily, oh god, he's come back on circuit though, and it's right in the middle of the track. Luckily, Alfie then avoids him as well. So if the leader of the LMP2 class has to experience it, so does the second place car, but the gap is coming down now, and it has really that swung things in the way of Alfie Bevan now. 4.6 seconds was the gap, with now 7 minutes to go in the race. So this is far from over, Ben.
It is very much far from over. It's only a couple of corners between them. Let's go on board with Alfie for a minute. There's a GT3 up there. Just ahead of it is Angela Scotti.
I was going to say, it only takes, really, with that gap now, it really only takes one NMGT3 to get in her way to bring Alfie right into the battle for the lead of the race with about 6 minutes and 25 seconds to go. So this is really getting now. Yeah. Also, this is where, as we spoke about earlier, with the pressure of finding cars in that turn 19, that second left-hand turn at Ponchmore. That's where the impression now comes to Angela Scotti. Does she go to move down the inside, around the outside of the LMG3 into that corner and risk making contact and ending both their races, or does she hold off and but then be under all sorts of pressure from Alfie Bevan?
She is very much stuck behind an LMGT3 at the moment.
Yeah, gap down by a second there.
That's the LMGT3 a former leader. That was Chris Downing.
Yeah, luckily out of the way, and actually it doesn't look like she's going to have to compete with any of the LMGT guys in turn 18. Luckily, just finds them on the exit, and that's holding them this. So as they come towards the braking zone, no, Angela Scotti onto the brakes for the bus stop. Turns the LMP2 car in, and it's 2.3 seconds is now the gap with 5 minutes. Oh, it's minutes! Angela Scotti's going around, that's going to give the race lead to Alfie Bevans. Bevans goes through, Bevans takes the race lead in round 5 of the oNiD Le Mans series. It's a mistake for Angela Scotti. It's the second time we've seen this race in turn 20, and yeah, just got the power a little bit too early, and it spun the car into a full 180-degree spin.
Is, and we did have a yellow flag there in the last corner as someone was stuck behind was looped round. Let's have a look, see if we can figure out who that was.
It's Aiden's fault. Aiden put admin leading fixed, and then he's just put spoke too soon.
Every time.
Sorry.
Every time. When in doubt, blame Aiden. So that's Petty Jelinek coming through the last corner, and we've seen it a couple of times, just loops it, and he's stuck there. And the incidents are coming in thick and fast, I've got to say, on the instant report sheet.
Yeah, Angela Scotty now running through out the battle for the race. 6 seconds is the gap between herself and Alfie Burns, and oh, that is gutting. Just as I said as well, it's another as well. It's getting these cars out of those low speed corners because they're so unreadable on the throttle. As I think Dave Wood just went off in the background as well.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. But
I'm pretty sure that was his kind of his livery spilling to the inside there as he made his way out of turn, out of turn 11, and yeah.
Let's watch his misery because he always does this to me.
Okay, no, fair enough. Yeah, I accept this.
Just little touch of the curb and just goes.
Oh, he's gonna go in the wall as well because that grass is gonna glide into it.
Yeah. It's getting very touchy out there, isn't it? Oh, I know we said it was saying maximum wetness of 5% earlier. It's now maximum wetness of 60%. Average of 60% wetness on the track.
Yeah, and another yellow flag out on circuit. I don't know who it's called. Basically, he's in Blanquist now in the LMGT3 class, and that's a long yellow flag. That's still out on circuit. It doesn't seem to be affecting anyone inside the top 3 of each class, from what I can tell. But that's a car not moving. It might be the chicane. There seems to be a lot of cars parked there.
Let's find it. Once it decides what the weather is for the week, for the replay, we'll have a look and see what it is. That's Frank Vevic. No, that's that is an incident.
But it's come back on. Kovac avoids them though. Have they stalled it and have trying to get the car? Oh no! Now right in the middle. Still on the racing line. And then is that Tomlinson spins in sympathy? Or Cowley?
Doesn't seem to be. I think that was Cowley.
So Cowley.
No, it wasn't. It was Charlie Morgan.
Oh, Charlie Morgan. So yeah, Morgan unexpecting of Frank Vevic on the outside of the corner there, spinning in sympathy to avoid him. Luckily, Vevic just got on the power, so they didn't touch rear ends there. And Vevic's still not looking particularly stable. That car looking quite twitchy, making his way through turn 16 there. So he'll continue on inside the top 10. And actually, that's quite frustrating for Cowley because if he'd got past that, he would have been inside the top 10 himself. But oh well. As Alfie still leads the way, 12 seconds to the gap now. An unexpected race victory from turn 1 disaster to end of race victory by the looks of it.
Indeed, that's the wrong one that I was trying to put on the screen there. Let's turn that off, go back to the one on the bottom. There's Alfie just having to work his way through traffic. Doesn't want to have a repeat of previous weeks where he's just run afoul of incidents and ended up dropping the points, especially not this week. He has got such the potential to take a big haul of points from this race.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's taking the maximum points from this race, whereas Cowley's he's in 11th. So yeah, I mean, with one weekend Cowley where he just needed a decent result, needed to finish at least inside the top 5. It's fallen apart for him. And Alfie, who it looks like he was in the complete opposite way to where Cowley is now at the start of this race, pushed off and pushed really right to the back of the LMP2 field, just had to carve his way all the way back through, and is somehow, he's looking on to take race victory here. I think it's going to be the last time around as he comes across the line with about 25 seconds to go in the race, and it's really trying to get the slide from the pit now, because 13 seconds is the gap to Angela Scotti. Especially themselves has about a 30-second gap with Dan Tomlinson, so it's really just got to coast this one to the end now.
Absolutely. Just up the hill, just don't want to make any mistakes that will pin you for track limits, get you into situations you don't want. Just focus on keeping ahead and keeping that gap. Penalty for Elvin Blomqvist from P2 of the LMGT3s. That is going to drop him a long way. That's going to drop him off the podium, I suspect. that's going to be he's picked up a drive-through for track limits.
Oh, and I mean, that's not going to help either. With that drive through the track, that's seeing across right on there. We're going across the red, orange, and yellow rumble strip on the outside of the circuit there. And yeah, let's see what that does. So Keith obviously looks on for race victory after a great strategic call as usual to lead that class. So yeah, it should put Jelinek and Downing onto the podium once well, actually, they won't have to the end of the race, but once that penalty is applied
It will give
afterwards.
him the timing. It will give him a time penalty afterwards that will drop him downfield. I think if you don't take it, it gives you an even harsher penalty as well. It gives you like a minute penalty.
So
So
yeah,
that
that's
will
good.
destroy his race.
I mean, in fairness, though, we'll give Bessie Jelinek a first podium of the season, so at least
Mm,
there's a positive from that point of view.
absolutely. We'll take it.
Yeah,
It'll do for us.
it'll do. There's a positive, there's a silver lining in that negative. But somehow, Ben, this is quite extraordinary. Alfie Evans is going to convert pole position to a race victory. It's not what it sounds like. It's not been that straightforward. He's had to carve his way back through the field after a Dave Wood dive bomb into turn one that dropped Alfie to the back of the class. But as he makes his way out the final corner, it gets a little bit twitchy, but he's going to cross the line to take race victory in the double points round 5 here as Spark Grosjean of the OLMS series. A great win for Alfie Evans. Classily done. Angela Scotti, again, a great go, but just a little bit of a mistake. The weakness of these cars, the throttle being ever so non-existent
no.
until it is existent like there. It's spun her around again into the wall. She's going to get back onto the power and
Still
get the
gonna
car
hold
facing in the
on
right
to
direction.
it.
But luckily, there's a massive gap to Dan Tomlinson. And there she goes across the line to take second place. And yeah, just that corner being her Achilles heel
Oh,
for today.
we did unfortunately miss Christian Kiesig crossing the line there in watching Scotty loop it, but composed win there in the end. I believe that's another conversion of pole to win on that
Yeah,
one.
I think yeah. So that's now his third win of this season. So Christian Kiesig back on form after actually not looking like it qualifying. So great result from them. Tomlinson's going to round out our top three in the LMP2 class, and it looks like penalties applied. It's still saying Blomqvist is ahead of on the podium, so I don't know quite exactly how that works. But there comes Dan Tomlinson across the line in third. We'll have to see if that stands though, because obviously against Ampere was involved in a lot of incidents in that race. We'll
Yeah.
see if that does stand afterwards. Kovac in fourth. It looks like Morgan's going to come home in fifth place at the end of this one. And here comes Morgan to round out the top five in the LMP2. Has a couple more corners to go. Steiner's not too far back either, so Morgan needs to try and keep it on the circuit here to at least secure the top five finish in the LMP2 class, because the yellow flag has come out. But I imagine from that's where car that's finished, because Charlie not really taking track limits too seriously around turn 18 there, but we'll pay him off his last few corners. As now through the bus stop chicane now, he only has the not so easy job of getting the LMP2 car out of turn 20, which he has been able to do, and so does Steiner. So they will come across the line to round out this race. Fifth goes the way of Tomlinson, and sixth will go the way of Steiner. And in the end, decent count is going to come home in seventh after incident they're involved in, which destroyed destroyed their car quite a bit. Had their wheel at a 90-degree angle. So another person that kind of ends this race with a what could have been.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is everyone. Let's see if we can get a result.
Oh, there we are.
We do indeed.
Yeah.
So that is Alfie Bevan taking P1 from Angela Scott. Dan Tomlinson brings home the podium from Janos Kovacs. Charlie Morgan comes home in 5th. Manny Steiner in 6th. And Juicer Carpenter in 7th. Alex J. Wood comes home in 8th, ahead of Jacob Hine in 9th. And James Cowley in managing to make it back to P10 in the end there, to help with some of those difficulties that he's experienced through this race. Frank Vevick in P11, Dan Stevens in P12, and Dave Wood bringing up the back of the LMP2 field in P13. Christian Kiesig takes the win for the LMGT3s ahead of Chris Downing and Elvin Blomqvist. Petr Jelinek comes home in P4 ahead of Daniel Johansson. Max Farrell takes P19 overall from John Metcalf ahead of Elliot Lewis, Andy Hearn, Tyler Hammer, Christian Schlink, Dean Smith and Christopher Bell. Jarrett Page clearly running into trouble there, has brings up the back of the field at 8 laps behind. And our DNFs are Leon Visprus, Ben Brown, Johnny Ashley, Frayne Dorich, and Matt Townsend, with Zach Silver and Johannes Miller being non-starters.
There we go. That's it for round 5. And, well, we've only got one more round to go next week. Round 6 of this, 6-week championship, who would have guessed? And we'll be finishing off at Imola. And, well, with that round, then, it's really closed it all up, I think. Actually, it might have extended out the LMGT3s, which we thought was going to be close. And it's right brought up the LMP2 class that we weren't expecting to be close into the final round.
Right. Now the server's closed, I might do a cheeky quick import of the results so we can have a look and see where everyone stands.
Yes, I would like to know going into next week because it is going to be rather close between everyone.
And let's go.
Jenny in chat, Jenny _459 in chat. Damn rain, why so late?
Okay, well in the GT3s, Christian Kiesig very much holding on to the lead there. 219 points to Chris Downing in P2 with 152 and John Metcalf in P3 with 144. Ben Brown drops out of those podium positions, drops down to P4. In the LMP2s, Alfie Bevan goes into the lead with 185 points. James Cowley will be dropping this round. It would be his dropped result. Remains on 168. Angela Scott comes up to be just behind James with 164 points. And just off the podium spots, Dan Tomlinson with 150. So not out of touch with anyone there. Everything to play for still in the LMP2s there. But I've got a feeling that Christian Kiesig might have taken the title, which I'm not surprised with 3 wins from 5 rounds.
Yeah, and technically with the double points there as well, that's kind of 4 in 6 rounds.
Yeah, so that's so that was 90 points he took today. Yeah, let me do a little bit of quick maths.
John Metcalf in chat, that was a long night, that.
I'm not surprised. It looked like it would have been.
And that Haribo Penguin, which I think is Dan Tomlinson, that was horrible to drive at the end in the wet as well. So yeah, not everyone big fan of the wet.
Yeah, we can congratulate Christian Kiesig. He is the champion for the LMGT3s. He cannot be passed.
Oh.
He has had
well done.
Dominant season, frankly. Only round he wasn't on the podium was Le Mans, and that was where he finished P9.
Yeah, and actually, with Ben now having that off round this week where he's DNF'd again, you're right. It's basically gifted Kiesig the championship, which I'm sure he wasn't expecting, but there you go. Christian Kiesig, from what we understand, is your LMGT3 champion.
Oh, but a great race tonight, and I think we're gonna have another one to finish it out, I suspect, because it's been hotly contested this entire season.
I don't know. I think this championship's really been one of the best ones I've commentated on because they're just the LMP2s and the LMGT3s together on circuit. It's just created amazing racing.
It has turned out really well, and I'm 100% happy with that. But we move on for the rest of the week. Tomorrow night we are back with Scotty and Aidan for the Audi TT Championship, which has been wonderful chaos for the last 4 weeks, and I'm sure will only continue to be so. And we are going round Zolder for 3 15-minute sprints. Wednesday we are back with the Academy, and I really should know where we're racing for that one because I'm in it. we are going to be at. Oh, it's at Le Mans, so
There you go.
it's that time of the season again. Uh, so that so that should be good fun. LMP3s and LMGT3s with fixed setup around the Cirque de la Surf. And Thursday we are back with the Club Challenge on iRacing, and we are taking the cars to WeatherTech Laguna Seca.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's always good. That's always a fun place to take any kind of car.
Especially the corkscrew.
Mm,
But I just want to say thank you for following Luca Murray 21 in chat. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to what if you enjoyed that, watch some of our other streams as we just said in the week.
absolutely, but I think it's time to wrap that one up because that was a
Yeah.
long. It didn't feel as long as I thought it was going to, but it was definitely
No.
still a long race. So
Yeah.
we will let everyone go and chill now. So hope you have a good night, and we look forward to seeing you for the rest of the week.
See ya.